There is panic in William Samoei Ruto's camp. The President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, sneaked into Mombasa County. And the President has been meeting with the key political players in this country and has also been holding meetings with the senior government officials in this country. But the President has not met with his deputy, William Samoei Ruto. And that's the biggest headache currently in William Ruto's camp. And I was speaking to one of them, and he told me that their worry is that they don't know what the President is doing in Mombasa. But they were suspecting that maybe the President is either working on reshuffling his cabinet or probably reorganizing the government. So today I want us to look at this. I want us to look at President Uhuru Kenyatta, what probably is President Uhuru Kenyatta is doing in Mombasa. But before we do that, if you are bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to just take 2 seconds and hit the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, you get notified. Now back to the main issue. Slightly over 1 week ago, Kanini Kega attended the funeral ceremony of the late mother to Madeira Member of Parliament, Honorable Gachagua. And during that funeral, Kanini Kega presented a donation of 500,000 to the family and also delivered a message of condolence from President Uhuru Kenyatta. But that move by Kanini Kega did not go down well with the allies of the deputy president. And they accused Kanini Kega of lying about the president sending him. But Kanini Kega explained that he was in Mombasa, and that while in Mombasa, he met with President Uhuru Kenyatta at State House. And that's when the president gave him that money and the message of condolence. And he did, indeed, the next day, he also delivered the same amount of money and a condolence message to a former KANU operative who had died in Laikipia County. So it has also emerged that the president has been in Mombasa. And the fact that he met with Kanini Kega proves that the president is in Mombasa on a working holiday and has been meeting people. And in the past week, the president has met with Fred Okengo Matiang'i, who went there yesterday. And they held lengthy meeting. And they are still meeting today. The president has met with George Kinoti, the director of criminal investigations. The president of the Republic of Kenya has also met with Nordin Haji. The president has also met with the Inspector General. The president has also met with the Inspector General Hillary. And the president also met with Joe Musheru, the cabinet secretary for ICT. Those are the only known people the president have met. But he has met several, including several political leaders in Mombasa and in private. But the president has not met with his deputy, William Ruto. And this can explain why the deputy president has been very bitter in the last few weeks. Because the president has been in Mombasa from 29th of December up to today. And today the president is expected to meet a select governors from Mombasa together with the senior police officers, and county commissioners. And this can explain why the DP has been very bitter. Because yesterday, the deputy president was so bitter to an extent that he claimed that any order from above must come in writing. So it means there's no way the president can meet Kanini Kega and send him to represent him in a funeral without writing. Or the president cannot just tell a cabinet secretary to go do this and this and this. That one must be through writing. So the deputy president has been very bitter of late, but that can explain that. But that's now besides the point. The question which most Kenyans are asking, what is President Uhuru Kenyatta doing in Mombasa? Because before the People Daily and the Standard broke the news that the president is actually at the coast, most people thought maybe, like me, I knew he was in the coast, but maybe he had come back, you know, but most people just believe the president is either just working in State House or in his house. But what is the president doing at the coast? Because coast is normally very symbolic. In my view, the president could be doing the following. The first thing is cabinet reshuffle or reorganizing the the government. For the record, anytime the president wants to make serious changes in cabinet, he normally takes his time off and consults widely. In most cases, he would leave the country. Then before leaving, by the time his plane is taking off, the announcement is made. So I think the president might be contemplating either doing a cabinet reshuffle or is working on a government structure. Because as things stand today, there's no way President Uhuru Kenyatta will achieve his legacy if some members of his cabinet are contradicting him and are pushing him to fire them the way Mwangi Kiunjuri has been doing. He can't achieve much. There is no way the president can achieve his legacy if he has decided that the deputy president William Ruto will not help him achieve his legacy, but the same guy still has his sympathizers known in senior government offices. So the president probably through the DCI and the rest have gone through that list. And they are now deciding, okay, for us to achieve this, this person here must go, this person here must come in, we have to retain this, things like those. So I want to believe that the president is working on a cabinet reshuffle. And that's why there's the director of criminal investigations. So that if a name is presented, then they can easily vet that name. And probably that's why Nordin Haji was also there to check if any of the proposed names has any scandal in this country. And probably that's why Fred Matiang'i was also called in. Whether he'll agree to some of those changes, because Fred Matiang'i is now probably the second in command, or if let's just say is currently the supervisor of all cabinet secretaries and the coordinator. So I want to believe that the president might be contemplating a cabinet reshuffle. Number two is what I can call central Kenya politics. Last year, the president was cornered. And the president promised people that he was monitoring everything. And that some of the people might think he was a fool. He knew everything. He knew who was sending who and who was sending who. And I think the president has now decided to go out and is fixing central Kenya politics. And the only way to fix central Kenya politics is to call like minds for a meeting. And that's why the meeting between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Kanini Kega comes to mind. And I want to believe that the president from central Kenya, the president did not meet Kanini Kega alone. I want to believe that the president met Kanini Kega, even if alone, but he has also been meeting several other leaders from central Kenya to plan on the onslaught, how they are going to move in central Kenya politics. And if you are keen, in the last few days, Team Keleweke in central Kenya has been revived. They met recently, and for the first time, I saw Kanini Kega attending some of those meetings. And while Team Tanga Tanga are busy going outside there, Team Keleweke from central Kenya, I saw them, were they in Chuka and some other place where they accused Alice Wahome of misusing, CDF, blah, blah. So I think the issue of central Kenya politics is disturbing the president. And he wants to discuss it when he's very free. So probably just making a call to so-and-so, a book come to Mombasa. Then they discuss, how do we go about this? Calling this group of opinion leaders in Mombasa. So I think that's one thing the president could be working on. Number 3 is the SGR. I think the issue of SGR standoff in Mombasa is a big problem that the president must address. And I think the president is likely trying to address it. Because every single Monday, like today, there are demonstrations in Mombasa over the move by the government to transport the cargo from Mombasa to Nairobi using SGR. And the local traders are claiming, rightfully, that let the market be free. So that if you want to transport it using SGR, go ahead. And if you want to transport it using your truck, then go ahead. But because the government is keen on repaying the tax or they owe to China, they're trying to force everything through the SGR. And while doing that, there's a challenge. The people, of course, feel that their livelihood, because they've always depended on the port of Mombasa, they feel their livelihood is being affected. So probably the president wants to find a solution to that issue of SGR while the president is still in Mombasa. Number 4 is the issue of corruption, the war on corruption. Last year, the president spoke so well, and the president threatened Kenyans, especially on the issue of corruption. But nothing has happened. The arrest, if they are arrests, those arrests, in my view, are political majorly. But there is no serious war on corruption ongoing in this country. And I think maybe this is what the president is trying to address. He wants a quiet place in Mombasa where he can call Nordin Haji. Can you give me your report on how far you've reached? Then he calls George Kinoti. Boss, can you tell me where you've reached? And by the way, George Kinoti is one guy I highly value and I highly respect in this country, because I believe that guy is a committed guy. He's one of the committed public servants in this country. We'll never have another director of criminal investigations like George Kinoti. So probably the president is telling Kinoti, Ebu wewe boss, kuja na your report. Then he goes to the inspector general. Can you come with your report? How are we going to address this? How are we going to address this issue of corruption? How are we going to do this? The best place is in a relaxed environment in Mombasa. Number 5, I think the president is also trying to fix the issue of security, especially at the coast. In Mombasa, the issue of insecurity is a major problem. And if it's not handled anytime soon, then it's going to escalate and the problem and the government will not be able to manage. There is the emergence of Al-Shabaab. There is the emergence of Sisi. What's the name of that team, of that group? Sisi hao ama nyinyi hao. that Sisi Hawa or Nini, those gangs. And I think the president is worried, and the president wants to sincerely fix that problem. And lastly, I think it's all about plan for 2020. The president is keen on addressing 2020. What is the government plan for 2020? How are they going to achieve them? What are the priorities? What did we promise people to do and we have not done? What can we do in 2020 to convince people? I think the president is also going to work on that. Thank you guys. And if you're banking on this video for the first time, I want you to take just a minute and hit the subscribe button. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you. And please, can you have a good day? Bye-bye.